All right.
You know, we're looking at this video in the background here, and I think you asked a question about, what is it you need to do to get yourself out there? All the musicians that are working on my television series, that's the whole reason that they're putting a video together. They're trying to get it on public television. They're trying to use the media. And I would say that's it, is learn how to use the media and figure out how to get your song out to people. The thing is, media is constantly changing. It's always changing. You can't sit on the side of the road and complain, that's the way they did things 5 years ago. How come I can't do it now? You have to think, wow, this change just happened. It's a new software program. Nobody's ever used it before. It was Facebook, you know, but Facebook now is going to fade away just like MySpace did, right? And something new is going to come along. And so you got to be ready to say, okay, what's this new medium and how can I use it?
That's good. Let's see. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, that's funny because I do the same thing.
Just a final.
You're really good at interviewing. Have you ever been a journalist or worked at a?
I currently have a radio show on KZFR,
Okay.
but that's kind of my first venture into that. I've always kind of been a people person, I guess.
That's nice. If you were asking me how to be a journalist, I could do
I'm
another
curious
whole
about
interview
people.
about that. Yeah.
I'm curious about people, and I've learned
Yeah,
when
yeah.
when I come up on hardship in my own life, and
Mhm.
I'll often think back. That carpenter guy one time told me a story and it's just like point of reference.
Mhm.
So
I do have something that
Yeah.
I'd like to add. There's this myth that you can be a full-time musician and be a big star, and that's all you have to do, and somebody just has to reach for it and get it and sign a contract, and then corporate America will take care of you. That doesn't happen. Even the people who have gold records are struggling. Okay, even the people, like I've worked with the band Cake, they had a #1 CD in the country. They're struggling. Don't put all of your eggs into the musical basket thinking I'm going to be a pop star, because it ain't going to happen. But you can have music in your life. You can make money with music. You can supplement your income with what you do with music, and have a good life and make music part of your life. And if you get to the point where you don't have to work your day job as much because you're making more at a certain point in your life, that's great. Pull back on the day job and go out and do the gigs. But combine music in your life every day of your life, and you'll be a more rounded person. You'll be happier. The people who have reached out and tried to just be a pop star and tried to make money with a gold record or selling out to corporate America, even if they have that gold record, they're not very happy people. Most of them end up doing a lot of drugs just to stay up on the road. Okay, it's not necessarily you do the drugs to inspire your music. You do the drugs so that you can make the 500-mile drive to the next gig, or wake up in the morning after the drive so that you can be, alert enough to play your song, pack it all up, and hit the road again. I'm not trying to say don't quit your day job, rather a variation on that, and that is make music part of your life so that even if you're not getting paid to do it, you're getting satisfied by the music. Okay, when I raised my child, I stopped performing for a while, but I had music in my life every single day. I'd pick up my guitar and make up songs for her. She would laugh. She'd bring her friends over. They would get off on the music that I was playing. So I wrote songs for the audience that was there. If the kids were 6 years old, I wrote songs for 6-year-olds. I wrote songs for 6-year-olds, but I didn't quit. I kept playing, and I got better and better and better. And then, when it was time for me to get back out and start doing gigs again, I still had music with me. The one thing you don't want to do is get discouraged and quit your music. Music isn't about being on stage and showing off and having people idolize you. Music is about sharing. That's important. If you get that in your heart, then everything else will come to you. If you have something to share, people will find you.
it's great. Okay. fantastic.
Oh, I'm up on my soapbox now.
Oh, that's
Sharing.
great. We've had the full range. I mean, you're obviously great interviewee. Then Jeff B was super nervous the whole time.
But crazy.
Like 2-word answers, and
Oh,
but
God.
an hour into it, we warmed him up and
Yeah.
he relaxed, but you were ready to go, man. That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, God, I'm
Dope.
pontificating way too much, but
No, it's
Del
fantastic.
Price
That's what
was
this is all
great.
about.
Don Diabono was
Oh,
awesome.
Don,
The
yeah,
things you
Don.
said, you brought up that Cabos was
Yeah.
Bo was from his name. He never mentioned it. That's the
No,
first.
he didn't.
yeah, the
know
other
that.
guy was Dennis Cato. So it was
Okay.
K-Bo.
Oh, okay.
And,
Okay.
yeah, we played. It was funny. If you ask Don, he'll say Peter Burko's band kept our club alive. It was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Turn the camera on. This is something weird.
On or off?
On.
Oh, is it still
It's
on?
on. It's
Oh,
on.
okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We
It's a weird thing that I never thought of. I talked to Richard Thompson. He's this like legendary guitar player, singer from Great Britain. And I produced a show with him over at Sierra Nevada, and Richard and I were talking just before the show, and he said, my son is trying to make it right now. And back in the day, when Richard was just breaking, it was possible for a musician to go out and buy all the records by your competitors to see what they were doing. And he said he thinks that a big part of what's happening right now is that the manufacturing companies are making so many cheap guitars that there's thousands of people who are your competitors because you can go out and buy a pretty darn good guitar for $200, and back in the 60s and 70s you couldn't do that. There weren't that many cheap instruments out there. So just the very nature of manufacturing and inexpensive instruments has allowed more people to be able to play music, and therefore there's more competition. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, though. It means that there's more people making music, and that's a good thing.
Right. Exactly. I mean, how many guys have a guitar in their closet?
Yeah.
And that's great that it's even there.
Yeah.
And it got there.
Yeah,
And they'll
exactly.
strum on it randomly. You
Yeah.
know, I think that is what I feel artists forget about music.
Yeah.
Is that it's a movement.
It really is.
Yeah.
Joe Craven, he's an amazing musician. He plays violin, mandolin, percussion. He played with David Grisman and Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead in a trio. Guy's legendary, but he's so humble. I'm inspired by him. There's a scene in my video with Joe where he's in front of thousands of people one night. The next day, he's volunteering. He just goes out to the Torres shelter, homeless shelter, and pulls out his instruments unannounced and starts playing. It's a couple of days before Christmas. And everybody comes out of the dormitories and is like, what's going on here? And they start dancing and singing along with him. And he gets this little 12-year-old girl to pick up a bow and start bowing a violin for the first time. And then they're jamming. And I mean, that's what music is about. It's about spreading joy, and it's about taking your heart again and connecting with somebody else's heart, and you can do it with all sorts of art. You don't have to do it just with music, obviously. It's dance, it's sculpture, it's the written word telling a great story, it's theater, So what art is for? It's about the human condition. We tell stories to make sense of life. That's how we do it. It started off with the griot, right? Sitting around the campfire, and the griot memorized all of the legends that your tribe carried along, about why the sun changes and why the fields are, harvested at certain times of the year. Don't go over that hill because there's a bad tribe over there, and watch out for the bears, because they sing these songs and tell these stories. The modern day griot is Gordy Oliger. Okay, he's the guy who's telling you the story with his banjo, and telling you how California, became the great state that it is, and why we have, why we have the farmers market, why we have such a great community here in Chico, and we're all griots, and that's what the musicians are. Is we're storytellers, and it's our modern day role to tell those stories, whether it's about a loss of a love, or somebody died that you cared about, or telling a story about how you just feel great about life and you should too, you know. I mean, that's what it's all about, it's sharing your story.
Do you want to play for us a little bit? What we've been doing is every musician we've interviewed, they play like, 10, 15 seconds, maybe sing, whatever, and then say, for instance, I'm Peter Burkow and I play in Chico. We got a bunch of those cameos, which is great, because when you bring up Gordy, it'll be like, and then that 10-second.
Gordy's our original guy. Gordy was there the first day we started this documentary.
Oh, that's yeah. Gordy and I recorded a duet album together. It's called The Rhythm Rowdies. Hi, I'm Peter Burkow, and I play music in Chico. Is that it?
That's great.
One more?
No, if you want,
If you want,
you can.
as
Okay.
many as you want. We'll...
Hi, I'm Peter Burkow, and I play music in Chico.
Yeah, that's better.
That's nice. That was perfect. That was probably the best. I think that was probably the best out of all the cameos we've gotten.
Yeah.
Just right to the point.
Professionally delivered.
Yeah, just right to the point.
You know, you might actually be able to meet my wife, and she's something else.
We might have time. We gotta get a bite. We were supposed to meet Marty James tonight as well.
This is for you.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
That is
Now she's been on a video game or two as well, didn't
Yes,
she?
with songs that I wrote.
Like karaoke rock stars and stuff kind of games.
She was on Rock Band
Yeah.
and Guitar Hero.
Who is that? That's
Back in Unibel.
okay.
She doesn't even